Do you find yourself using the word hate a lot? Let me just put it this way. If you were in the hate Olympics, what medal would you place in? Would it be bronze, silver, gold, or you get an honorable mention, or you just showed up? How would you categorize your using the word hate or feeling hate towards another person? Well, today we're going to be talking about how hate affects our body. And I just wanted to share that if you hate anyone or anything, the only one who gets hurt is you or me, whoever is doing the hating, and I will explain why. So get your pencils and your pens and your paper, whatever it is that you like, and sit down. So we're gonna, class is in session. We're gonna take lots of notes. Here we go. It's time to grow. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you. Hi, my name is Lily McDermott, and I am a certified life coach, a certified holistic cancer coach, and the host of the Lillian McDermott radio show, Classroom. If this is your first time in the classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Yes, you heard it. Today, we're going to be talking about choosing love over fear. But you would say, okay, the opposite of love is hate, but fear is a subset of that hate. What is the reason? And there's fear. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this class now is because I hear it over and over and over again. I'm hearing more and more hate. And it doesn't matter if it's a person or it's someone who's doing some good, not all bad, but they still discredit everything they do because they hate them. Do you relate to that? Can you relate to hating someone in your life or disliking them intensely? And let me tell you, today, you know, as you know, it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge. And today, I am so grateful that I will be able to share with you my perspective of what's happening in the world, why so many people are hating, and I feel honored that I get to do this. So I really would like for us to sit down and listen and take notes and do some of the things that you know are going to help you learn a new truth so that we can all grow together. So let's start with this whole concept of I want you to understand that since I was a little girl, I mean, I don't know who instilled this in me, but since I was a little girl, and then later on as a mom, or an individual, for some reason, I thought the word hate was so powerful. And I knew deep in my spirit that that word, that once there's hate in your heart, it takes over like a weed and it won't allow love to grow. So that there, right there, when your heart gets overcome by weeds of hate, it's really hard. It'll choke up the love and it will make nothing seem as special anymore because that hate takes over. And where does that hate come from? We're going to be talking about that as well. And hopefully, prior to doing this class, I prayed. I prayed on my knees. I pray that whatever comes out of my mouth is like I'm out of the way, that God is speaks through me and that allows me to speak to you in a unbiased way because I have felt this way too, but in the opposite side, but not with hate, but not understanding, because I've had moments where I've can't stand to look at somebody, not because I don't hate them, but because I don't like what they stand for, maybe. But I still listen to them. I still try to learn from them. I still try to find the beauty in them. That is just me. But again, since I was a little girl, I'd always say, where there is hate, there's no room for love. It takes it over. And I remember instilling this with my children. If they said, I hate this, I hate that, I would always say that. So people who know me probably have never heard me say, I hate this. I dislike it. I may not like it. But once you use that term, it's such a low frequency that you have to look at, and everything is a frequency. Everything in your life is a frequency. We are all electric beings, like a TV and an antenna, sending out these frequencies of emotions. And if you think of love, love is the highest frequency, and compared to hate, love is a high frequency, and then hate, then underneath it is fear. And then there's anger and hate and fear and all these different frequencies that are even lower. And the lower the frequency is that you're emitting or receiving, the more suppressed your body becomes, the lower energy. That's why people that are depressed walk around with their head down, maybe their arms and arms don't even move because they're paralyzed. And that's what hate does. So if any of you are experiencing hate, let's say because of the current administration, just know that before that, there were people that the opposite side did not like, but somehow we made it through. And so I'm not for Trump. I'm not against Trump. This is not about a Trump thing because we're talking about the administration, because I don't like to talk about politics in the classroom, but I have just noticed an increase in that hate. And it doesn't matter the good someone is doing, they cannot see it because the weeds have grown in the heart. And this is something that's become, and I saw in the last 4 years, something that's become more and more acceptable, which is that if I don't agree with you, I'm going to tear you down because I'm right, you're wrong. And that is the farthest from the truth. I think that we can find the beauty in everything that we do, that we can find something in common in everything that we say, but we start off by wanting to discredit one another and prove the other person wrong. And that lose-lose does not work. This mentality that you must lose in order for me to win isn't real. It was created by people who want to manipulate us into doing what they want us to do. Please be smarter than what they think you are, or just know, or that they think we are. Let me just use the word we, not you, us, that we are. When I tell you to hate somebody and you believe it, and nothing of value, even though they're a human being, and you can't even see the value in being a human being, then the weeds take over. And when that happens, we lose all perspective, all objectivity. And so I want to caution that if you find yourself depressed or anxious about a single individual or multiple people, find yourself how many times you say, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And what's going to happen is that you will become suppressed, not the person that's out there doing the work, that they're showing up and making changes or taking a stand. You, us, we, whoever is saying, I hate this, I hate that, that is who is going to be facing the consequences. I don't know if that makes sense. And I would love to hear your comments. I don't want this to become a love hate of Trump. This is a love for you. It's a love for self, so that you don't allow these weeds to grow, because once those weeds start growing and it suppresses your body, that means it suppresses your immune system. It means it will lead you toward dis-ease. And I want for all of us to be healthy. all of us to be healthy. I just saw the confirmation hearing for for Robert Kennedy. And at this point of this recording, I do not know what the outcome is. But to hear the questions that were being asked with no desire to hear the response, to me, that is not acceptable. I don't care if you're right or left or center. If you ask a question, be curious to the answer. Allow the other person to speak their truth, whether you agree with it or not. But it was just so hard to listen to, especially when someone has had a complicated past. And it's been years and years and years. How would you like for me to judge you instead of where you're at today to who you were a long time ago? And there's evidence that you've changed. There's evidence that you've done well. So it was very difficult for me to listen to it. But I listened to it because I was curious, not because I'm for or against someone. I don't have to be right about my opinion. I want to be curious about, okay, do I still have this value? Is this person still someone I must hate? If I must hate someone, then someone else is controlling my emotions without any reason, without any reason whatsoever. So let's talk about how this whole thing starts. We start with this love versus hate, but it's really love versus fear, because fear is what drives the hate. Fear is what drives the shame. Fear is what drives your ego. That is what drives the ego. And the ego is always right. It doesn't, the ego wants to be in control, look good, and comfortable. So those are the four things that the ego wants. And we've become so attached to our belief system that nothing else, if you have a difference of belief system, my ego feels attacked. That is the root by which all these arguments happen. So as I was saying, that there was this marketing, like a tool to control you, which is I'm right and you're wrong. In order for me to win, you must lose. And that is a lie. Because when you think about it, the Super Bowl is right around the corner, and we watch the Super Bowl. And if I ask you who won last year versus who's going to win this year, you're going to say, oh, my team's going to win, your team's going to lose. And there's that fighting again. Oh, my team is better than yours. And I love that fun banter. I'm in there, but not because I hate your other team, but because I love to play and I love fun banter. But if they win, if they lose, it's no skin off my nose. Maybe somebody has a lot of money in the game, but I don't. I just go to have fun and watch the commercials and see excellence at its best. But guess what? Guess who wins? Everybody wins. All the players get a ring. All the players make money. Every vendor is going to make money. Everybody's winning. We get to witness an incredible game. We all win. But this win-lose and people that get upset for months because their team lost or cry or whatever, hey, listen, I understand that emotions run high, but you don't have to win in order for me to lose, and I don't have to win in order for you to lose. So I think I said that. I don't know if I said that. If I win, you don't have to lose. If you win, I don't have to feel like I lost. What about if we create win-win? What would your life look like if you created win-win in your life? Like agreements. I know we disagree, but let's discuss what are we willing to do? I know you're not willing to do this, but what are you willing to do? That would be choosing love over fear. That would be choosing my essence over my ego. That would be choosing love over the weeds, that ample openness than the weeds that are destroying and seeding into your heart. So when we talk about hate, we must really discover, what are we really hating? Do we really hate the other person? Or do we hate ourselves? Are we so uncomfortable with ourselves that we must feel good about ourselves by making someone else look horribly? So, like I said, I do not want to make this about politics, but that's where I see it the most. It's almost like a bloodbath when it comes to a shark. It's like that feeding frenzy that has been happening. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that something I say today makes you halt and say, I am really curious as to why I feel so passionate about someone. I mean, they can't be all of it. There has to be a redeeming quality of the person. Let me find it. Let me find what is redeeming, just like I did with the previous administration and the administration before that, and the administration before that, and the one that's current today. We all get to do this, because if I am stressed out about the person I hate, that person won't get hurt. Maybe emotionally they might feel bad that someone doesn't like them, but ultimately it comes to me. It comes to you. Again, it suppresses your body. That means your immune system will suppress. That means decisions will be suppressed that you can make in the future. And by the way, 5 minutes of anger, and who's angry for 5 minutes? 5 minutes of anger suppresses your immune system 8 hours. So this hate thing that's happening now in the world, and this fearfulness that's happening in the world, has got to stop. And where does it end? Where does it begin? Where's the beginning of like ceasing all this hate? It begins with you. St. Francis of Assisi said many years ago, and I quote, preach the gospel at all times. If necessary, use words. Preach the gospel at all times. If necessary, use words. Now, I'm not coming to you as this person who has all the answers and that like I don't have a flaw in me. On the contrary, I'm pretty flawed. And what I'm saying to you is that we ourselves must say, man, if somebody hated me that much, I would want someone to give me an opportunity to, for them to understand, who I am, what I've done, not defend myself, because I don't think I need to defend myself, nor do I mean to say that anybody needs to defend myself, but I would want to be given an opportunity to explain or get to share where I have improved in my life. Because if I were judged by the 16-year-old girl that had certain beliefs when I was 16 years old, or the 20-year-old young lady that had belief systems before then, heck, just 13, 14 years ago, I'd hate to be judged by all these actions before that. Who I am today is a journey of all the lessons, the gifts that I've learned in my life, not necessarily who I was, but who I am today. Who I am today. I may not be able to change the beginning of who I am, but I can certainly change my now. I can change who I am today. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this class today is because I want us to understand that hating serves no purpose. It serves no purpose. And I maintain, and I truly believe, that it was the minority who crucified Jesus. It wasn't the majority that did it. It was hate that did it. And somebody standing by and doing nothing about it. One could say it was God's plan, and that's true. Could anybody have stopped what was happening? but that was part of the journey. But what was the tool to get someone to hate somebody so much that they had to kill them? What was it? And it was fear. It's fear. So if we really look deep out inside and we say, what is it about this person I'm afraid of? What is it about this thing I'm afraid of? Oh, well, let me be honest with myself. I'm afraid of this, and this. Whatever it is that your this is, then write it down, face it, own it, and say, huh, has this happened? Is it true? Could it be that things will be different? What if they are? What if I've got it wrong? And I ask myself that question all the time, especially when I watch the news. If I watch the news, um, I I go, what if I am being told the wrong thing? So that's why I become curious. Let me go listen to another channel. Let me go listen to this is how they're saying it. Oh, let me read it. Let me look at the science. Let me look at, so with curiosity, it is so liberating that you don't have to be attached to my belief system. It's freeing, actually, if you say, you don't have to be wrong in order for me to be right. How about if we have a conversation about it? Let's agree to disagree. Let's say this is part of God's plan. Let's see how it unravels. I am going into this year with apprehensive curiosity. Like, I'm not 100% in and I'm not 100% out. I am just cautiously optimistic. How about that? So, with that cautious optimism, I am willing to look at everything. I was curious about R.F. Kennedy. I've followed him for many years. And what really set me back were the people that didn't want to hear the answers. They were just making statements that sounded like a question and didn't allow that person to respond because they didn't want to hear the truth. They didn't want to hear the other side. Is that how good communication occurs? No. And this needing to be right, oh my goodness, it's stressful. It's stressful to be angry with the world because I'm right and you're wrong. Again, that's our ego. Our ego wants to be right, in control, look good, and comfortable. Those are the facts. The ego, the song of the ego is, I don't get no satisfaction. But let's understand how the mindset, how did that ego happen? How was it that all these things happen? So when you're a child, your ego was there to help you, you know? Oh, don't feel so bad about these people being making fun of you. You're much better than they are. And all of a sudden I become superior. This ego that is meant to make me feel okay and safe. Don't stick your finger in the socket. Now it's about being fearful. Don't do this. Oh, now it's about fear, fear, fear. And what protected me as a child, which is my ego, and I'm not talking about self-esteem, I want to be very clear about that. That same ego that protected me as a child is now holding me captive. It's the one that says, I'm right. I look good because I'm right. I'm in control because whatever I say is more important than what you have to say and comfortable. I'm not going to get out of my lane. I am driving very happy in my lane. Don't make me step out of my lane. But I've had wonderful conversations with people who disagree with how I believe. I'm more than happy to listen to them. But sometimes they don't want to listen to me. How is that a conversation? You tell me your pain points. I listen. I acknowledge. Okay. Do you want to listen to my pain points? Will you listen? Will you acknowledge? Can we, in our conversation, enter a point where we can agree to disagree or find commonality? That is what got us through COVID. That is what got us through, whether you're wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, whether you should have the shot or not have the shot. All those disagreements. I mean, that was the other time that I felt people were jabbing each other. Relationships have been severed because of these things. People have been unfriended. I mean, it's just, come on. It's just so sad. But that only hurts the individual who is carrying all the anger, frustration, hate for the other person, place, or thing. So let's talk about the mindset. You have heard me talk about mindset a lot. And to quote Trump, by a percentage of a lot. Anyway, the mind. These beliefs have been set since you were a child. When you're a little boy or a little girl and you are looking out at the world and you're seeing everybody look at you, you are a human tape recorder. You are recording everything. Everything is getting recorded into your mind, into your brain, which, by the way, we don't even know where those thoughts are, but it's recorded in there. And that later, those belief systems become like your subconscious thoughts. We have about 45 to 70,000 thoughts, depending on how active your mind is, a day. And out of those thoughts, 90% of them are repetitive. Like you had this thought today and you don't even know. It's like when you're driving a car. Sometimes you can black out, you can be distracted, you might be looking at a text and you're still driving because it's subconscious now. You are able to become an expert at doing it, although it is very, very dangerous to do that. Maybe you fall asleep at the wheel, but your eyes are open, you're still driving, and you get to your place and you go, wow, how did I get there? That's your subconscious taken over because it knows what it needs to do. All of that has been there for a long time. Out of those 70 to 45,000 to 70,000 thoughts, 80% of those thoughts are negative thoughts. Can't do this, can't do that, don't hurt yourself. Again, many of that was the ego protecting you. So moving forward, now these are belief systems that you have running and ruminating sometimes in your mind, traumas, you have experiences, you have disappointments, whatever it is, it's still going in there. And if it's not resolved, it goes into your body and it becomes like a ball of energy in your body. And that is what is going to be emitting. And the way that your mind sees, what your eyes see, and the way that you becomes your filter by which you see the world. So with that in mind, please understand that the mind does not understand fact versus fiction. It just believes everything it sees. So if you're watching news or if you're looking at things that are not 100% true, maybe slanted towards one way or another, then that's going to become your belief system. You're going to believe it unless you research it and you look into it, go, I'm very curious about this. Let me see if it's true. Let me I'm going to do some fact checking myself. So that's the first thing about the mind that I want you to understand. The second one, it doesn't understand do versus don't. So we normally think with I don't want this, I don't want that, but very rarely do we say, I want this, I want that. This is what I want. And just recently, my girlfriend Maro quoted me because she wants to go to this a party but she's flying away. And so she was like, I hope that it doesn't, whatever she needs to do at work, that it goes off without a hitch. Everything is good so that I can come back and turn around and go to this party. And I said, but what happens if it doesn't? And then their reply was, oh, it's going to happen. I'm going to practice your way of thinking because she knows that it's the mind does not understand. Don't. It just focuses on whatever you're focusing on. So if I don't want to marry someone who's an alcoholic, don't want to marry someone who's an alcoholic, then don't want to marry. So the don't goes away and marry an alcoholic gets registered. marry an alcoholic, gets registered. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So focus on the way to rewrite the story is I want to marry someone sober. I want to marry someone who's kind or someone who's religious, someone who has faith, someone who's spiritual. I want to focus on that because that's what you will, if you focus on what you don't want, guess what? You get more of what you don't want. So that's fact number two. Number three, it doesn't understand that what you're looking at or thinking about is in the past, or what you're looking at or thinking about is in the future. It thinks it's happening now. So if you're watching a movie, if you're watching, and I always give this example because I love to give this example. My dad, when he used to watch boxing, he would watch boxing like this. Why was he watching boxing like this? And he'd be having his own boxing match in his seat. And it's because the brain doesn't know if it's fact or fiction, first of all, if it's happening now, even if it was like something that he was watching in a movie, if it was the past or the present, he is just really enthralled. The brain doesn't know. If you are thinking about the past and you're depressed, the mind thinks it's happening now. If you're thinking about the future and you're anxious, the mind thinks it's happening now. And then you will feel the emotions today. People that have been abused or traumatized, that even though they think that they have forgiven, it's got to go deeper than that. It's got to be dealt with. And how do you deal with it? You rewrite the story, which is something that I love to do with my clients as a coach. I love to do that because there's beauty in everything. And when you find the beauty, that's when you resolve the issue. Not just saying, oh, I forgive this, or I know it happened as a child. It doesn't affect me anymore. You can say whatever you want, but it does. It does affect us. And then number four, it doesn't know who it's angry with. Get it? Get it? It doesn't know who it's angry with. It assumes it's you. So if you're hating someone, your body is taking in that hate, and you are going to be the recipient of the results. Does that make sense? Does that make you want to say, okay, I'm going to stop this hate game? Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see. So let me recap on the mindset because this is crucial. Every conversation, every talk I ever give, I always talk about this. And I've had people say that have heard my talk maybe 5 or 6 times. I never heard that before. Because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Write it down, see it every day so that it becomes part of that mindset, that 75%, that 90% of repetitive, or that 20% of the positive that's going through your mind. You rewrite the story so that it is a positive response to whatever it is that you've gotten into. And if you need help, you can go to whenyounneedafriend.com and go to my page. While you're there, please, thank you. I'm just going to thank you right now for subscribing to the website. You can like and follow me on all social media. One of the things that I ask that you do is that you share this video with someone you love, or someone you know, or someone you care about, or someone that you just met. Share it, because when you do that, it helps increase the algorithms. If you make a comment, if you do the little emojis, if you, whatever, that is a way for you to help the classroom grow. So today, many people, even though they've heard my classroom for years and years and years, may not recall this, may not remember it, because our ego pushes it away. Like, I'm going to dismiss that. That's not real. It is real. It is real. Look it up, research it, make it your own truth. Don't just repeat what I say, research it. Research how this works, how your mind works. And let me tell you, it was back in 2014, the first time, or maybe it was 2013, the first time I interviewed Dr. Bruce Lipton. Oh my goodness, the stuff that he was saying about our DNA and epigenetics, I became like this devouring student of information. And you know what? Even though I would have liked to have dismissed what he had to say when I was maybe 15 years ago, it became my truth. And it's changed my language. It's changed me in ways that some people won't allow me to grow because they want to still keep me in that box before, I was like 15 years ago, 16 years ago. But I'm not that person anymore. Once in a while, she does come up. Once in a while, I do come up because, family has a way of triggering us, and we get to figure out what are those triggers? How can I prepare myself for these triggers? And what will I do differently if I get triggered? Those are so important. Anyway, so go to whenyouneedafriend.com, like I said, and share all this information with people you love as you like my website. And remember, it's a two-step process. So the second part after you enter your email is that you're going to get an email to your email address, and it'll ask you if you chose to sign in. It keeps me compliant. And if you choose to opt in, then I will send you a thank you video, thank you email welcoming you to the classroom. Then you can go to check out everything, all the different classes that we've had in the classroom, and then check out my sponsors, support them like they are supporting the classroom. I think it's just amazing to have people come forward and that they're able to help. And also all of you, if you become an enrolled student in the classroom, you can also help, whether it's $1, $1,000 a month, a one-time donation, or multiple donations, whatever the case might be, of your time, your talent, and treasure, all of it, including when you go to my Shop Now page and you see everything there that is Lilly approved. And so some of them are affiliate accounts that help with the classroom in a very, 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 very small amount. But there's also the generosity of the people. There are also um, 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 icons that you will click that are not affiliates. They're just there because I really love the product. So I want you to know what it is. Okay, so any questions so far? Write it down. Write it down. So to recap, the brain doesn't know, the mind doesn't know, fact versus fiction. It thinks it's all, whatever you're seeing, whatever you're saying to yourself, it's all happening. It's real. That's why I always say protect yourself, what you read, what you see, because the body does not, the brain does not discern what's fact from fiction. Do versus don't. Please focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Past versus present. The brain doesn't know if it happened in the past, which is when you live in the past, it's depressing. And when you're focusing on the future, it is stressful. And that's when anxiety sets in. And so the brain doesn't know, it just assumes it's happening now. So you basically are re-injuring yourself, not anybody else. And it doesn't know who it's angry with, it assumes it's you. Like I said, we are an antenna and we are electric and we are receiving signals or sending signals. So be guarded to the people that are surrounding you because it will impact you. So if you have a group of people that are always like, I hate this person. Yeah, I hate this person, or gossiping or doing all these things, it's going to do something to your spirit. Protect your spirit. Keep it pure and pristine. Just keep it pure and pristine. There's so many other ways that you can spend your time, which is looking at how do I choose, how do I choose love over fear? Another way is how do I choose love over hate? Because really, the question is, what are you afraid of? Is it true? Is it true that is this a fear? Like there's a monster in your closet and I need some monster spray and spray it there? Just because you're a child, in the mind of a child, that spray is going to get rid of the monster. So use some monster spray on your belief system and say, is it true? Has it happened? Will it happen? And is there any other redeeming quality that this person has that I can focus on that? And I've shared before my forgiveness story of someone who hurt me pretty deeply. And every time I would think of this person, I'd go, oh, never said I hated them, but it made me tense up. I knew that I was angry with this person. And even that anger, so you don't have to have the hate emotions, that anger, that feeling like you were victimized, betrayed, whatever it was, it would just like turn my stomach. And at night, I couldn't sleep. During the day, every time I thought of him, I just like, you know? And one day at 3 o'clock in the morning, God woke me up, as he does many times. And I took my journal and I started to, I knew that this was hurting me because I was feeling this emotion that I never have allowed in my body before. And I was in trouble. I was, I was feeling sick. I couldn't sleep. I was exhausted all day long. And I said, it's got to end now. And I asked God to help me with this. I asked God to help me forgive, but truly forgive, and to be able to move on. And I remember I started wishing this person love, peace, joy, and abundance. Every time that person's name came to my head or my heart or my gut, I'd say, I wish them peace, love, joy, and unexpected abundance, which later became the way I said good, say, I end the classroom, end the class. I wish you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. That is my forgiveness story. Now, it didn't happen right away, but I was able to rewrite my expression instead of reliving this person did this and this and this or telling anybody about the story. I replaced it with, I really wish this person love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Well, I didn't see this person for about 3 years. And I remember I was about to see that person. And I remember preparing myself emotionally. Have I really forgiven this person? How will I behave when I see this person? Will I have that feeling after 3 years? So I didn't know. I had to wait for that moment. And I remember that moment when I saw that person. I ran to them. They tried to avoid me. I ran to them. And I told them that I loved them and that I had missed them. And we ended up dancing together. And I know that they were kind of like, is this real? Is this real? I need to be guarded, you know? I need to be guarded. But I was real. It was genuine. It was liberating. It really was. Because forgiveness is not for that person. Forgiveness is for me. It's to release me because along with that lack of forgiveness comes like, how stupid am I that I have allowed this person to hurt me? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I knew better, but I allowed that person once again. So there was another layer that's like, oh, I did this to myself kind of thing. Or somebody else did it and I was kind of like caught in the moment. But it doesn't matter. There's a lot more emotions to just forgiving the other person. Forgive yourself. And I will say that whatever you wish onto somebody else is going to come back to you. So if you are wishing, like, I hope they drop dead. I hate them. I hope that the same thing happens to them that they did to me. And I can understand that we talk about karma and how it's a bitch, but not desiring that somebody would be hurt. Never, ever go through that because guess what? When you wish it out there, when it goes out into the world, it comes back because karma comes back to us too. So be very, very careful with your thought process because if you start ruminating on this person, every time you think of it, you are re-injuring yourself. You are re-injuring yourself. But when I saw that person, I was able to see, wow, this is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It took me a while, but I was willing. Like, if you are willing, you may not want to forgive the person, but are you willing to forgive the person? Are you willing to discover what are some good qualities about that person? Are you willing? Because, people that are trying to release weight, for example, some people say, look at yourself in the mirror as the person you want to be. Oh, I am beautiful. I am healthy. I am skinny. And all of a sudden you go, that's a lie. The brain knows if it's fact or fiction at this point, it believes that you're out of alignment. So it doesn't understand that it's fact or fiction. It understands that you're out of alignment. That's a belief system that is not ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching going in from the brain to the heart. It's not. So then you rewrite the affirmation to I am becoming slender or I am becoming healthy, as opposed to making it about being slender or obese. You can just say I am becoming healthy, because that's what happens when you start releasing all the weight and you start doing it in a good way, where you learn how to relearn how to eat, and you relearn what tastes good, and you relearn that foods are not the best for you if they're processed. And again, when you're going through this process, it is transformational. This day, I get to have wonderful conversations with this person. And as far as the East is from the West, that transgression has been lifted from me. Now, do I trust that person? Absolutely not. They haven't earned my trust. There's a difference between forgiveness and trust. That doesn't mean that because I don't trust them, that something is wrong with the way that the forgiveness has gone. No, it just means you've learned. There's there's a contrast between forgiveness and trust. Trust is something you earn. So they would have to earn your trust, and that might take some time. But don't recall the sin every time. Don't recall it like, oh, I don't trust you because of this, this, and this, because every time you recall it, you're re-injuring yourself, right? So just know that, time has to go by, and you'll know when it's okay for you to trust that person again, and when it's okay for you to be able to do things and get to that point where you also trust. You might forgive, but you don't have to trust. And that doesn't mean that you have to let the person back into your life to harm you again, because the person didn't change, you did. Get it? Do you understand that? Protect yourself, but not in an egoic way. Because now let's talk about the essence. Woo-hoo. The essence is a beautiful, beautiful quality that is rooted in love. It is a download from the Holy Spirit into your body. When you can say to someone, I don't like that person, I don't hate that person, so let me find out how I can work with that person. Or if there is a person that is poking you in the eye, and you don't like being poked in the eye, not like Dr. Day used to poke me in the eye or all of us in the eye. If they are poking you in the eye and it is not a fun thing, they're really trying to hurt you. You just step back from that. You start your forgiveness process, because you got to let yourself go. That doesn't mean you have to put them in your life, bring them back into your life to hurt you again or make you feel that uncomfortable. That's where boundaries come in, where you say, you know what? If we're going to have a relationship, these are my boundaries. I would appreciate it if you wouldn't say that. It doesn't have to be an argument. If they try to defend themselves, that's their ego. You don't have to engage with it. Be in your essence and just let people be who they are. You don't have to change them, but you get to change. That's the only thing that you have the power to do. It is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing when you realize, they're really showing me who they are. Now, if there's someone that rubs you the wrong way, pokes you in the eye, and you know you've done it too, you got to think about it. You got to say, it's not okay when I've done it. So it's not okay when they do it, or is it okay when I do it and it's not okay when they do it? So sometimes you see in others, or most of the time, you see in others who you are. So the question that I learned from not Dr. Carol Howe from Course in Miracles is that when you see somebody that's presenting themselves and they're like, oh, here they come again, I can't stand that person, or I hate this person, or whatever, then that's where you get to step back and say, what is it about that person that reminds me of me? What is it about that person that reminds me of me? Or who's that person that it reminds me of? There's got to be someone in your life that maybe the universe, God, whoever, whatever you want to call this process, this journey, that you get to dig, 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 like get out your soul shovels, dig, dig, dig until there's only truth. So what is it about that person that reminds me of me? What is it about me that I need to forgive myself for doing to others? Do you see how it works? Do you see how we can get ourselves free from all these dumb distractions? Because here's the thing, this is what we do really, really good, is that we can see everybody's flaws. Everybody's flaws. We can talk about them. Look at how they walk. Who do they think they are? And that's all ego, by the way. That's all part of the ego because I'm trying to be right. I'm looking good. I'm better than them. That's all the ego. But it's the essence that says, there is something about that person that is reminding me of something within me that I need to forgive. Get out your journals, write it down. And that's when your essence, which is true love for yourself and others. And I was looking at love versus hate versus fear. And so I came up with a little, I'm trying to remember the word. Is acoustic, uh, which is LOVE, love, living, open, vibrant, and empowered. That's love. Love. So I just work with me here, just play with me. May not be perfect, but this is what I came up with. Then fear, focused emotional attack against reason. So it's like, I'm just going to attack that person. I have no reason. I just don't like them. Or maybe somebody I don't like or someone that I like doesn't like them. So we got to be in this together. It's this mob mentality that assassinated Jesus. This mob mentality that will assassinate your character. This mob mentality that is part of the egoic world. But I don't have to be a part of that mob. And most of my life, I'm the cheese who stands alone sometimes. Sometimes I joined the mob as I was younger and I wanted to feel like I belonged. But I belong to one and one only, and that's to God, Jesus, my Holy Spirit guide. That is it for me now. But if you need to belong to someone that you know is perpetrating crimes to somebody else, then you got to just sit there and say, why? What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? Am I afraid that I'm not enough to have friends? Am I afraid that I'm not enough to be loved? What am I afraid of? And when you start asking those questions, that's where the sweet spot is. That's when you can convert this hate or fear into love. And then hate, I came up with something for hate. It's harmfully abusive to your essence. I did. I was sitting there going, okay, I've got me, some people call them acronyms, but I guess you could call it an acronym, but I think it's acoustic. I'm caustic. I'm sure you will all write the word in the comment section because that'll help my algorithms. So harmfully abusive to your essence. So love yourself. Be living an open life that is vibrant and empowered. That's love. And God is love, and that is the root of your essence. Fear comes from the ego, And that is that angel and the devil that we remember. If you're as old as I am, you remember little cartoons with, yeah, you could do this. No, you shouldn't do this. If you do this, you say this, nobody's going to know. Yes, somebody will know. And that is that ego essence conversation that we have in our mind all the time. But we have the power to choose what direction and who we will listen to, and the research we get to do so that we can end the madness, the woke mentality, the feeling better than thou. And so I want to encourage you to be curious instead of critical, to be a detective. If somebody says, oh, I chose not to vaccinate, you don't go, oh, I hate her. I'm never going to be a friend of hers. Why? We have so much in common than not in common. And if you want to focus on what you don't want or what you don't like about that person, then that's going to come back to you. And then you get to ask yourself, what is it about them that reminds me of me? The me I need to forgive. The me that isn't always, that feels like a fraud maybe. The me that has remorse or guilt or whatever it is. Figure it out. You're worth it. You're worth it to go beyond what you ever thought you could do. Love the unlovable. Be kind to the people who are not kind to you. It doesn't mean that they're going to come and have dinner at your house. It's how you recall it, as the mind is going to believe it's happening now. You are in choice to choose love over fear. And I want to encourage you that as you finish this class today, you will sit with a journal, if you aren't already, and writing about all the people that have done you wrong, harm, whatever, that you're still holding on to them. And if you have like a few little diseases hanging around your body that the doctor gave you a diagnosis, start peeling away all those different kinds of emotions that will lead you to break the chains. And it will lead you to a better tomorrow, a better now, actually, because there's no such thing as the past or the present. There's only now. Will you today, right now, make a decision to either forgive, to learn more about the person that you hate, to just release that person and say, you know what? That is how they live their life. I may live my life differently, but it's not going to affect me. It's not going to make me angry, frustrated, or anything to that effect. I'm going to focus on what I like, what I love about the person, and hold them to a higher power. And I hope that you will make this choice just like I have made this choice over and over again. And remember, perfect makes practice? Anyway, you know what I mean. It's time to do the work, and it's time to set yourself free. And please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.